Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Calls for mandatory on-the-job sexual harassment training as Parliament passes sexual harassment bill. Oppressive. Opposition MP objects move to allow prosecutors the right to appeal. And later in sports, Molynes FC makes an addition to their coaching staff. I'm Anthony Lugg. Here are the details. Calls this afternoon for employers to be mandated to provide on-the-job sexual harassment training to their employees. The call was made in Parliament last evening as the House of Representatives debated and passed the sexual harassment bill. The bill aims to tackle harassment in institutions like the workplace and schools, as well as accommodations. Vashon Brown has more.
The end of debate on the sexual harassment bill in the lower house on Tuesday.
A bill entitled An Act to Make Provision for the Prevention of Sexual Harassment and for Connected Matters read a third time. And passed.
The Sexual Harassment Protection and Prevention Act 2021 passed the committee stage with 10 amendments. During the debate, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck argued that there was a need for balance. In fact, he argued that the tribunal hearing complaints will have great difficulty balancing the complaints that come before it.
We need to find the right balance. And sure, Madam Speaker, there's no reason why any employer or any man should be slapping a woman on her bottom or on her chest. So that is the extreme. But we cannot ignore, Madam Speaker, where an affectionate touch on the shoulder or on the elbow or a squeeze of the hand is deemed to be sexual harassment. So we have to be careful in finding the balance between an affectionate touch and an inappropriate slap.
While noting that the opposition supports the bill, Northwest Manchester MP Michael Phillips argues that more needs to be done to strengthen the provisions of the bill. He says there's a need for the legislation to mandate employers to provide on-the-job sexual harassment training.
This is needed to promote increased awareness within the workplace about recognizing sexual harassment and sensitizing employees to what constitutes a sexual harassment offense and the damage it causes within the working environment. Section 4 of the bill speaks only to the duty of...
Gender Affairs Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange argues that the bill is gender neutral, as both men and women oftentimes recount experiences of sexual harassment.
The bill seeks to protect and prevent sexual harassment in not only workplaces and institutions, but also in accommodations, be they residential or business accommodations. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the landlord and tenant relationship is captured in Clause 11 of the bill.
The bill will now go to the Senate for approval. Vashon Brown, TVJ News.
And still in Parliament, at least one opposition MP is raising objections to the proposed legislative changes which would allow prosecutors the right to appeal. The House of Representatives yesterday debated changes to the Judicature Appellate Jurisdiction Bill and the Judicature Parish Courts Amendment Bill. In his contribution to the debate, Member of Parliament for Clarendon South West Lothan Cousins argued that the changes are oppressive. Sandy Williams has that story.
The changes to two key pieces of legislation will allow prosecutors the right to appeal. This would bring Jamaica in line with countries like Barbados, Bermuda, and the United Kingdom, who have passed similar legislation. But a Member of Parliament for Clarendon South West, Lothan Cousins, has opposed the proposal, arguing that it is oppressive. Furthermore, he believes the proposed changes will undermine trust in judicial decisions.
This bill represents a situation where the state arrests a citizen, charges a citizen, prosecutes a citizen, acquits a citizen, then turn around and say that, oh, we made a mistake and we need a second bite at the cherry. And that, Madam Speaker, is very oppressive In fact, what it does is that it erodes confidence in the certainty of judicial decisions. It's a very important principle, Madam Speaker. And so, when you look at it, and you take...
Pointing to an already slow justice system, Mr. Cousins says Jamaica is not yet ready for appeals by the prosecution.
There's a lot of backlog of cases. Just today, Madam Speaker, a trial was supposed to proceed, a trial of national importance, and I am told that the trial has been postponed to next year. That's just a simple example of the circumstances and of our realities. Our realities now does not afford us to have a bill like this. We have to take into account, for example, and the minister knows very well, the culture of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. We have to take into account the fact that 90% of the persons who serve on the bench as judges have come through the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
He is suggesting the bill go before a joint select committee of Parliament to allow for further deliberation. In response, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck said the victims must be considered and appeals allowed when judges make mistakes.
It is justifiable. And the reason why it is justifiable, Madam Speaker, judges do get it wrong. Judges do make errors. And because judges make errors, as a defense attorney, I was very successful in appealing for accused because judges make errors. And when they make errors, Madam Speaker, on points of law, which is oftentimes the case, I was successful. But Madam Speaker, at the end of the day, the accused may have been acquitted in the Court of Appeal, having been convicted in the lower courts. But what about the victims, Madam Speaker?
According to the Justice Minister, there will be a deadline for hearing these appeals. An 18-month period was initially proposed. However, members of Parliament are planning to place the cap at 12 months. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
A 14-year-old boy has been charged with murder in connection with the fatal shooting of a couple in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland yesterday morning. The Westmoreland police are searching for 3 other suspects. Chris-Ann Brooks and Tenniel White, both 19 years old, were killed when gunmen kicked in the door of their house in the community of Russia about 3:45. Another man was shot and injured. It's reported that 5 children who were in the house were not hurt. The Office of the Children's Advocate says the agency is reviewing policies and practices in children's homes across the island. In an interview with our news center earlier today, Children's Advocate Diane Gordon-Harrison said the review is a part of ensuring wards of the state are protected. Under the microscope, several children's homes across the island following damning allegations of sexual abuse. The most recent was at a children's home in Hanover. Reports are that on June 10, the disabled 16-year-old ward of the state was on the compound of the children's home when she was taken to a bathroom and sexually assaulted. The child reported the incident to a caregiver at the facility. Children's Advocate Diane Gordon-Harrison reacted to the news.
We regard it, as we do all violations of children's rights, a gross and unfortunate incident. And it really highlights for us that even amongst those who are supposed to be in the system protecting our children, there are persons who are, in a position of trust that may, in fact, find opportunities in which there is cause for concern.
Mrs. Gordon-Harrison did not go much further, but she was quick to point out that the allegations are sufficient grounds for introspection to be done. A review of the policies and practices within children's homes are underway.
It's in line with our statutory obligation, and we are undertaking a national review, if you will, so that we're looking more at a proactive framework and systemic issues that may or may not affect, how children are supported when they are, in fact, wards of the state.
But how long will the country have to wait to hear the findings of the review?
Due to resource constraints in terms of human capacity and the need to continuously react to incidents that occur, we have a hopeful and an ambitious timeline of, I would say, within 6 months, but that is subject to the exigencies of our operation.
For a break, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Continuing the news. Organizers of social events in Manchester are being warned that action will be taken if they stage functions without the requisite permits. The warning comes on the heels of several unauthorized day and night raves in the Mandeville Town Centre. Cody and Barrett reports.
While addressing the recent monthly meeting of the Manchester Municipal Corporation, Mandeville's Mayor Donovan Mitchell made it clear that the extension of the curfew hours is not a green light for party promoters to flout the law.
Permission is needed from both the municipal corporation and the police for the events to take place.
The mayor reminded organizers that the cost for permits to stage such events had been reduced by as much as 50% to facilitate them, and so urged them to apply.
Those activities need permission. And I'm just saying it again, that persons have to understand that the town of Mandeville or Manchester is not a free-for-all town or parish. People have to obey the rules and regulations here, because at the end of the day, you hear all different arguments about who doing what or who not doing what. And I'm saying that to be forearmed is to be forewarned.
In the meantime, Superintendent Gary Francis from the Manchester Police also reminded party organizers of their responsibilities under the Noise Abatement Act.
Any event that loud music or loud noise can be heard within 100 meters, it needs an application to the Superintendent of Police.
He is also appealing to applicants wishing to stage events to be mindful of parking facilities, electricity supply, disposal of household and human waste, among other things. Cody Ann Barrett, TVJ News.
55 new cases of the COVID-19 virus were confirmed on Tuesday. The country's overall case count is now 50,848. The positivity rate now stands at 5.5%. No new deaths were recorded. Therefore, the death toll remains at 1,134. However, one death is currently under investigation. In the meantime, 97 persons are hospitalized with a respiratory illness. 10 are critically ill. There are 7,232 active cases. A Clarendon woman remains in hospital after receiving injuries in a fire at her home in Mineral Heights yesterday. As you'll hear in this report, the fire brigade is warning persons not to re-enter burning buildings. The aftermath of a fire at this home along Sodium Avenue in Mineral Heights, Clarendon. Furniture, clothes, appliances, all gone up in flames. Reports indicate that shortly before 4 Tuesday morning, residents heard cries for help.
I run out, and by the time I run out and look, there's a blazing fire inside the house, and then by the time I come out now, I see the lady at the grill. She hold on the grill and a ball. She bawl out for help, and we try to price the grill, but the grill really a burn, and other people fall in and start help, and we able to price off the grill and get her out.
The woman was transported to hospital where she was admitted in critical condition. She is being treated for major burns. We were also informed that there were other occupants inside the house.
Well, there was a little, about 4 or 5-year-old baby inside. Not much of a injury, just a couple burn to our hands and our back.
Acting Deputy Superintendent in charge of the Clarendon Division, Dennis Lyon, says firefighters were quick on the scene to put out the blaze. But while they were doing that, the unthinkable happened.
I am advised that one of the 4 occupants of the house came out and ran back into the building to retrieve, to retrieve something. And that's when she received injuries.
DSP Lyon is reminding citizens not to re-enter a burning building.
It is dangerous, and we are monitoring a section of the building and you're gonna walk at the back end and enter, you are entering at your own risk. It is dangerous and it is unadvisable.
The cause of the fire is still unknown. More than a week after heavy rains pelted sections of the island, lack of drain cleaning in the parish of Westmoreland is again in the spotlight. PNP Councillor for the Little London Division, Ian Miles, has blasted the government. But as you'll hear in this report, the local government minister says the claims are not true. Tropical storm Elsa may have come and gone, but the hurricane season is far from over. Municipal corporations have been facing the heat about their level of preparedness. But according to PNP Councillor for the Little London Division in Westmoreland, Ian Miles, central government has neglected the parish.
The Westmoreland Municipal Corporation has not received a penny for special drain cleaning for the last 2 years.
Local government minister Desmond McKenzie has since denied those claims, labeling Mr. Miles as dishonest. Mr. McKenzie pointed to the allocation of some $5.5 million for road repairs in his division. But Mr. Miles is not pleased with the comments made by the minister.
No one will defame or try to defame my character. So my lawyer has penned a letter and he will be written to in short order. The clippings that was sent out and that they have circulated, and every one of those who had my picture up on social media, all of you will be written to in short order.
In the meantime, Mayor of Sablamar Bertel Moore is seeking to provide some clarity on the matter.
Every June, the PRF is designated for drain cleaning. So each councillor will get their PRF and they will clean drain in their division.
Anthony Log, TVJ News. And for the latest in the financial world, here's Cody and Barrett with a Business Minute.
In the world of business, J. Ray and Nephew Limited is investing $2.5 million into a fertilizer plant. The facility will use dunder waste generated from its rum operation as feedstock to supply to local farmers and customers in the United States. The plant is expected to be commissioned by 2023. A worrying decline in the value of the Jamaican dollar against the US dollar. On the foreign exchange market on Tuesday, it was nearing a new high at $154.74. President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, Richard Bandohi, has commented on the slide, stating that he's hopeful that the Bank of Jamaica will continue to use the strength of the net international reserves to ensure orderly behavior in the foreign exchange market. FortiGuard Labs, a threat intelligence lab, revealed that Latin America and the Caribbean started the year with more than 7 billion attempted cyber attacks. According to data collected on cybersecurity incidents around the world, Trinidad, Jamaica, and Curacao were the top 3 countries with the highest number of IPS threats detected. Jamaica had the highest number of virus threats detected. According to the report, during the first quarter of the year, a remarkable increase in web-based malware was reported, resulting from the use of social media to spread advertising and deceptive websites. That's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
The Business Minute, brought to you by...
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's health report.
Coming up in this evening's health report, we'll look at developing antibodies after COVID-19.
So we're talking about antibodies, but there are 2 components to the adaptive immune system. One of them would be the B cells that produce the antibodies, but you do have T cells that also produce substances to kill the virus. And so some persons may have T cells, although they may be antibody negative. So they still will have some protection from the virus. The thing is that despite having antibodies, despite having T cells in response to the virus, you still need to be protected.
That's the health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Whether you have been tested positive or not for antibodies, you should still wear a mask, stay 6 feet away from others, get vaccinated. Wash your hands often, cover coughs and sneezes, clean and disinfect, and monitor your health daily.
We go now to a look at the top regional and international stories.
In news from the region, a former Haitian senator, a fired government official, and an informant for the United States government are the latest suspects identified as part of a sweeping investigation into the killing of President Juvenal Moïse. The men are among 5 fugitives who the police say are armed and dangerous as they continue to track down those suspected of participating in the July 7 pre-dawn attack in which Moïse was killed and his wife wounded. One of the suspects was identified as former Senator John Joel Joseph, a Haitian politician and opponent of the Tetkal party that Moïse belonged to. And on the international scene, some 17 people have died after a hotel collapse in an eastern Chinese city. After 36 hours of search operations, rescue workers found 23 people buried in the rubble, 6 of whom were found alive. According to the Global Times, a preliminary investigation found the collapse was caused by the owner altering the structure of the building. The building is said to have undergone frequent renovations in recent years. That's it for your regional and international news. I am Sandy Williams.
And we head now to a quick break. When we return, we'll have your midday sports report. Simon Preston is standing by. Simon Preston.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. Former Waterhouse coach Anthony Patrick is now calling the shots at Molynes United, with the Premier League club making the appointment on Tuesday. TVJ Sports understands that Patrick had his first training session with the team this morning. Chairman of the club, Urada Cornwall, confirmed with TVJ Sports that Patrick is now at the club, but did not disclose whether he is a replacement for Calvert Fitzgerald.
What I can speak of at this moment, Anthony Patrick is a part of the coaching staff at Molynes Football Club. And at this moment, I won't say he's a replacement, but I can speak for sure he's a part of our coaching staff at Molynes Football Club. Calvert Fitzgerald, at this point, is still around. We just bring in Anthony Patrick as a part of our coaching staff.
We go up north now as two-time Gold Cup finalists Panama held invited team Qatar to a 3-3 draw in Group D action in the CONCACAF Gold Cup in Houston on Tuesday. This is the first time an invited team is featuring in the Gold Cup since 2005. In the later game on the day, Honduras got the better of Grenada 4-0. Gold Cup action continues this evening as defending champions Mexico battles Guatemala at 8:30 Jamaica time in Frisco. In the curtain raise at 6:30, Trinidad and Tobago will entertain El Salvador in Dallas. Across the Atlantic we go now as Reggae Boys defender Greg Lee has joined English League One club Morecambe FC on a 1-year deal. This move ends his 2-year spell with Aberdeen in the Scottish Premiership. Lee has made 2 appearances for the Reggae Boys. The 26-year-old left-back was part of Jamaica's 60-player provisional roster, but was not selected in the final 23. To cricket we go now as the West Indies will be looking to take a 4-0 lead over Australia in the 4th T20 International in St. Lucia this evening. The Caribbean side won the series with 2 games to spare on Monday after recording a 6-wicket victory. The Windies have made 2 changes for the last 2 games of the series, with left-arm spinner Akil Hussain and off-spinner Kevin Sinclair named in the matchday squad as replacements for Shimron Hetmaya and Obed McCoy. The match balls off at 6:30 Jamaica time. The tour will also comprise 3 one-day internationals. And finally this afternoon, the Phoenix Suns will battle the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 4 of the NBA Finals this evening in Wisconsin. The Suns are up 2-1 in the series. The Bucks won Game 3 on Sunday 120-100. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock Jamaica time. The Suns are searching for their first NBA crown, while the Bucks are hoping to claim their first NBA title in 50 years. And that is it for your Midday Sports Report. I'm Simon Preston. Anthony, it's over to you.
Thank you, Simon. Simon, a lot happening in the world of sports this year. Last year, not much, right?
Indeed. It's really great to see that a lot of action and excitement back to Gold Cup, where the Copa America, the Euros, NBA Finals. It's really a lot to take in as a sports fan.
All right. Thank you, Simon. And that's where we leave you this afternoon. That's the Midday News. I'm Anthony Lugg. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.